The fence, it's all about the animals. We'll learn about efforts to promote animal welfare, and we'll visit the recent horse barn Halloween at UVM. No tricks, just treats, and a whole lot of fun. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. We start today's program with a look back at a special Halloween treat. Students and faculty in UVM's Department of Animal and Veterinary Science invited the public to the University Horse Barn for the annual Halloween Barn event. The stars of the show were the horses in costume who were matched by kids in costume. Here to tell us more are UVM equine professor Betsy Green and student organizer Summer Brown. Thanks so much for coming in.
Great to be here.
Now, Betsy, the UVM Halloween Barn is a tradition and it attracts quite a crowd. Tell me a little bit about the history of this event.
Well, Josie Davis and I started this in about 2000. And with those students at the barn. And of course, back then they were just as creative with their horses and costumes. We were talking about it, and that a few years early on, they actually had a haunted tack room part, and they had things like the Jello brain and things like that. And you can see the ringleaders in the picture there, Josie in the hunting outfit, and of course Jenny Wilkinson, who's in charge of it now, and David Kerr, our interim chair. But we took that out because it was a little too scary for the little kids.
Right, because there's some really tiny ones.
Yeah. And in fact, as it has grown over the years, we have limited it to the smaller children because we had so many people coming as the years have gone on. So a victim of its own success. And we've had to make some changes and adaptations, and Summer's certainly been in that aspect of the program too.
Yeah, Summer, you're the student organizer. What went into putting this event together for the community?
Well, at this point, a lot of the community kind of already knows that it's happening, so it's not too hard to advertise it, but we do send out flyers a couple weeks beforehand. We have a couple girls who go all over the place. We have to organize the parking, so we have families going to our parking garage on UVM campus, and then they get shuttled down to the barn, and then we order a whole bunch of candy, and we let all the girls in the co-op know kind of the protocol. We have a lot of new ones this year, so we let them know just how to handle your horse, what to do if your horse or if someone kind of panics, which usually doesn't happen, but they're animals.
Right.
Yeah, and we just kind of get everyone in the community and in the barn really geared up for it.
What are some of the comments that you've heard from either the kids or families that have gone through?
I've definitely had families really enjoy it. I've had a lot of people telling me that they have horses, so they kind of just love exposing their kids to more animals. The kids love it. They really are attracted to the friendly horses and just love to pet them, and especially because a lot of the girls who dress up their horses try to dress them in something that the kids will recognize. So we had like a Frozen costume this year, and they just go bonkers for it. They love it.
No kidding. And so how about some of the little kids? Are they at all afraid of the horses?
Well, I did have a situation where my horse sneezed and terrified somebody. But other than that, most of them are really friendly and really interested in at least petting the horse's nose. And plus there's candy. It's like horse and then candy.
Also, you have to deal with the horse before you get the candy.
Yep.
Betsy, why do you think it's important to have this kind of an event and open the barn up to the community?
Well, it just brings on so many good aspects. You have the public being able to see what's going on in the barn at the university. You have the students getting exposure to the public and creating events. And these are the types of things that they may be involved in in their own careers, whatever that career is down the road, interacting with the public, understanding the value of people understanding what you're doing. And so, and then of course, just a great happy event for the youth, the youth and their parents and grandparents and everybody else they bring along too.
Yeah, because it's such a visual spot where the barn is and the horses are up by the interstate, so people must wonder, I wonder what goes on in there.
Well, and there's not really that much for the public to interact with on a regular basis because there's a lot of student and course activity and the dressage team as well, but this is come check us out and have a great experience.
And how many horses are at the barn?
There are 21 there, I think, right now.
Yeah, wow. Well, let's take a moment to visit the Halloween barn. Across the Fence was there as families began to line up for the event.
This is UVM's Halloween barn. It's taking place at our horse barn here on UVM campus. And we have 21 horses in the facility, and we dress up those horses in costumes. And then we invite local children to come in and trick or treat from stall to stall. They get a couple pieces of candy, and it allows us to interact with the Burlington community in a really fun, positive way. A lot of people don't know what happens at this facility. This gives us a chance to open up our doors to people that live in the Burlington area, to come in, meet our horses, talk to students, get to know what sort of things we're doing down here, and also give kids a really safe place to be interacting with horses and to be a safe, well-lit place for them to trick or treat, especially when they're younger. My students get a lot out of this because I think even though UVM's in the middle of Burlington, it's pretty isolated, and unless they work in a school or babysit, they don't have a lot of interaction with the local community. This gives them a chance to talk to kids, talk to families, get to feel more a part of the community here.
We like having a community event, and we like having people come through and see our facility. Our faculty advisor, Jenny, has been doing this forever, and it's just a really fun way to, you know, give back a little bit as a barn and as an organization of UVM. We've been planning this since the beginning of September. We are getting all the candy, we're getting everybody organized, everyone's got their own role that they are going to play. So some people are running the bake sale, which is a fundraiser for us, and some people are with their horses doling out the candy.
My wife found it last year. He really liked it. He got really excited of all the kids running around, and well, he liked to see the animals. Not very much for the candy, really, but he had a lot of fun, and he likes to see other kids on costumes.
I've got Jack and Gavin. These are my two sons, and we came here when he was 3 last time, and we knew that this one would love it just as much.
Why do you come back?
Because it's fun. Where else can you go trick-or-treating with horses? And they get them all dressed up, and they're really good with the kids. And I went to UVM too, so I want to come back and, you know, support UVM and support the students here with their horses. And I mean, can't wait.
Well, that looked like a lot of fun.
Yes, quite an adventure.
Tell me a little bit about how many people you figure that came through the barn this year.
This year we definitely had fewer people, and we organized the event that way. We probably had between kids 200 to 300, and it was hard to tell, but maybe 2 parents per kid on average.
I guess some people might wonder how the horses held up with all this activity. I mean, there's children running around, lots of noise. Anybody get bothered by that?
You'd be surprised. Horses love attention. So my horse was eating the entire time, so he was okay. But a lot of them they think it's so fun to have kids just coming up to them, usually 2 by 2, and just petting them and talking about how beautiful they are.
Yeah, and as we had gained the crowds, we actually started using the arena in the last couple of years to have other activities so that it wasn't wall-to-wall in the stall area. And so that was, you saw the lines where they were waiting to get in, and that helped a lot. And this year they actually added a hay bale in front of each stall. And it was just one of those things, why didn't we think of that before? And so the horses that may have gotten tired of or antsy were just like, oh, food, cool.
So they were happy.
So they were happy, yeah.
Now, a lot of planning goes into the Halloween barn. Why do it? I mean, it's a big undertaking.
Well, you know, this may be one of the largest community service programs or projects on the campus when you look at it. And so what better way to show people when you see the news that you folks report on sometimes is not always great. So, so let's talk about what good things are going on and what the students are doing.
And so what do the students take away from this event, do you think, Summer?
I would definitely say that it's a good opportunity, especially for the first years and the sophomores, to connect with the community. A lot of younger students at UVM don't really leave campus too often, or if they do, they just go down to Church Street. So this is really a good time for them to really see the greater Burlington area as more than just a place where you go to college. And then they get a chance to dress their horse up and have fun for the night.
And how about from your standpoint, Betsy?
Well, I think the fact that many of the students are from out of state, exactly what she said is true. They get to see Burlington as a place rather than just the university, and it's good for them to be interacting as well.
Now, Summer, you're minoring in animal and veterinary science. What are you planning to do after graduation?
Well, I am a huge fan of the animal sciences, but veterinary stuff just isn't for me. I'm not much of a science person. I actually am majoring in English. So I would like to someday go into law and do some work on animal welfare and getting legislation passed to kind of protect animals in this country.
Nice. Well, as we've noted, the highlight of the horse barn Halloween were the horses and the kids, but while across the fences at the barn, we also saw Professor Green in her costume, and we could take a look at that. I'm going to question about what you're holding there.
Well, that's the Princess Skunk. Yes, Miss Greta. She's been a part of Horse Barn Halloween since she's been around.
And she looks like she's having a fabulous time.
Yes, she's also been in many other costumes.
Now, Betsy, you took the Halloween barn video that we showed earlier in the program to the national meeting in Florida last week. What was happening there?
Yeah, the National Animal Interest Alliance, it's a mouthful, meeting is actually something that I should get Summer hooked up with, because it's working on animal welfare and protecting those people in all kinds of breeds, species, and disciplines that that are providing good animal welfare. And I was on a panel of what's going on in the horse industry, and we had somebody from the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, and also a racetrack industry program at University of Arizona, and then myself talking about the things going on that are concerns and how they're being addressed and whether or not they're legitimate or what's legitimate within them. So I actually ended up showing that video clip in the background as we're answering questions, because I said I ended mine with what can we do, and some of those were proactive and doing things to let people into your facilities, to let them see the things that people are trying to make up stories about when they have different agendas.
Can you give me some examples of maybe some of the things?
Well, for one thing, as far as some of the issues they were talking about, the rodeo, there's always are they trying to hurt the animals and how they're putting on the straps that are not true. And then in the racehorse, of course, you have the racehorses running. You saw American Pharoah just won his last race before he retired, and they have blow up statistics and try and misrepresent things that are going on. And so we actually talked about the drug protocol in the racehorse industry, and that the horses are not raced all drugged up. In fact, they're drug tested and very heavily monitored.
Right.
So, and then with me, I was talking about the Western Pleasure, where the horses, they say they're going unnaturally slow, and they had a video that perception and reality, and I found another video from the same class that was a different angle. You can agree or disagree with that, but you have to tell the truth about it.
Right. Now, you also talked in the past about an elephant course.
Yes. In fact, that meeting is the place that we hooked up with the elephant crew from the Elephant Conservation Center. And this year we actually went to SeaWorld. And of course, SeaWorld has been put in the media in
some controversy.
Yeah, some controversy as well. But we actually got behind the scenes tour of that before the meetings. And there were great examples of the sea rescue things and where the funding's coming from, how they handle the things. And so it's just a really good experience to see it and then make your own judgments.
Right. Yeah. And you got access to some pretty amazing things.
Yeah. Well, we saw some of the shows, but we also saw baby manatees.
Oh.
and I guarantee that those dolphins, it kind of reminded me of Greta begging, because they do a trick, get some fish.
It's a great motivator.
It was very much a great motivator. And we saw the sea lions, walruses.
This amazes me, because, to look at a walrus, you wouldn't think there's a lot going on there.
He was huge. He was huge. These guys were hams. This was actually a university act, so to speak. They were going to school trying to pass. They did.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so overall, would you say, your experience with these kinds of things and seeing behind the scenes things was positive?
Yeah, because it certainly helps me understand what the realities are, and you hear a lot of things that are not true. And so if you go and you see it, then you can actually speak with knowledge of it rather than just what you read.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us today. It's a great program.
Thanks.
That's our show for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.